Does your situation look like Emily's? Emily's study table was piled high with books. 3 or 4 reference books per subject. Notes, guides, total information overload. She would spend all day in her room with her books, but nothing was actually going into her brain. A few days before exams last year, when I went into her room, she was really stressed out. She said, "I don't understand anything. I study so much, but I still haven't finished the syllabus. My exams start in May." But nothing is sticking. I feel like I've forgotten everything. My biggest fear is that I'll blank out in the exam hall. When I sit down to study, I get sleepy. When I don't, I feel guilty, like I'm going to fail. What will my parents think? What will my relatives say? I could see the fear of failure in her eyes. She was putting in the work, but more than studying, she was overthinking. She was chasing perfection. Emily believed everything had to be perfect, and when it wasn't, she wouldn't even start. I sat with her, calmed her down, and said, "Look, Emily, you're working hard, but you're not working smart. Let's change your strategy." And then I told her the 10-step rule that completely turned her results around. Step 1, stop overthinking. The first thing I noticed in Emily was overthinking. She was talking non-stop in one breath. "I haven't even touched this chapter. These notes are incomplete. There's no time left. All my friends have finished their syllabus, they're revising, and I'm stuck here. What if I get low marks? What if I fail?" I stopped her right there and said, "Emily, take a breath. Look, scaring yourself like this won't complete the syllabus. It'll make you forget what you already know. The problem isn't your preparation. The problem is that you're overthinking the results before you've even taken the exam. First, stop comparing yourself to others. What your friends are doing won't show up on your paper. Second, trust yourself. Listen, the time you have left is enough. If you spend it doing, not worrying. Right now, replace panic with a plan. Forget what you've missed. Focus on what you can do right now. Step 2, set your study environment." Mindset was fixed, but I noticed Emily's phone was on her table while she studied. Every 5 minutes, a ping would break her focus. She'd get up for water, for a pen. Zero concentration. Sometimes she'd sit on her bed to study and fall asleep, then say, "I study, but I get sleepy." I picked up her phone, put it aside, and said, "Emily, your room is exactly like your mind, cluttered and confused. You're not studying, you're just passing time. If your environment isn't right, focus will never come." Solution 1, the zero distraction desk. First, we cleaned her table. Emily had a habit of keeping all her books out at once. We made a rule, 1 subject, 1 book. If she was studying math, only the math book and notebook were on the table. Physics, chemistry, everything else stayed in the bag. Remember, a clean desk creates a clear mind. Also, keep your water bottle, pens, and highlighters on the table beforehand so you don't break your flow. Solution 2, fixed spots for everything. Emily created a study zone and a relax zone. Her desk was for studying only, no eating, no videos. Her bed was for relaxing, no studying there. This trained her brain. As soon as she sat at her desk, her mind shifted into study mode. As soon as she lay on her bed, it shifted into relaxation mode. Her sleep improved too. Solution 3, turn distractions into rewards. Emily set a 25-minute Pomodoro timer and put her phone in another room. She told herself, only after 4 full cycles will I use my phone for 30 minutes. After this setup, her productivity doubled. Chapters that used to drag on for 4 hours were now getting done in 2 hours with full focus. Step 3, create your goal. With the environment set, I asked Emily a simple question. Why are you doing all this? What's your goal? She thought for a moment and said, I want to score 90% and make my parents proud. I said, Emily, 90% shouldn't just be in your head. It should be on paper. We took a big sheet and wrote Mission 90% and pinned it in front of her desk. When your goal is visible, your mind doesn't wander. Or find your why. Whenever Emily felt her courage break, I told her to just think of her parents' happiness. Your why is your biggest motivation. Small targets. We broke that 90% into daily targets. Every night, Emily would write down her 3 main tasks for the next day. Now she wasn't studying out of fear of failing. She was studying to achieve her dream. Her fear had turned into excitement. Step 4, master plan, the 80/20th rule. Now came the real strategy. I took all of Emily's extra guides and thick books and put them aside. In front of her, I placed the previous 5 years' worth of past exam papers and said, Emily, study these carefully and spot the pattern. She took a paper and listed which topics were repeated most often. Guess what? She realized that only 20% of the syllabus covered 80% of the questions asked. That's the 80/20th rule, the Pareto principle. Now Emily didn't need to read the entire syllabus. We isolated the topics that repeat every year and carry the most weight. Half her stress disappeared right there. I told her one thing. Smart students aren't the ones who read everything. Smart students are the ones who know what to read and what to leave. Step 5. Limited sources. I noticed Emily watching 4 different YouTube videos for one topic, then opening her school notes, then coaching notes, then asking for her friends' notes. Result? She was so confused that she'd even forgotten the basics. I turned off her phone and said, "Emily, you're not studying. You're just collecting information. It's better to read one source fully than to read bits and pieces from 10 places." Select your teachers. Fix just 1 or 2 trusted YouTube channels that you actually understand. If you follow everyone, each one will give a different method and you'll get confused. Stick to your own notes. Handwritten notes are the best because you know exactly where everything is. The one book rule. Pick one standard book, like a core textbook, plus your own notes. That's more than enough. Emily cleared out her digital and physical clutter. Her mind stopped wandering because she had limited sources and maximum focus. Step 6. Say goodbye to procrastination. The plan was made, the environment was set, but the biggest battle was still with herself. She told me, "The timetable is perfect, but when I sit down to study, suddenly my phone seems super important. I feel like watching just 5 minutes of reels. And when a topic seems hard, my brain says, we'll do it tomorrow with a fresh mind." But that tomorrow never comes. I looked into her eyes and said, "Emily, this isn't laziness, it's fear. Fear of failure. Trick 1, eat that frog. Do the hardest task first." Emily was scared of physics. We made a rule right after waking up when her mind was freshest, she'd study physics first. Get the hardest thing done early so you stay confident all day. Trick 2, Pomodoro technique. Sitting for 3 hours straight was hard for Emily. So we picked up a timer. Simple rule, 25 minutes of study, 5 minutes of break. I said, "Emily, you don't have to study for hours, just focus for the next 25 minutes. That made the task feel easy, but I gave her a strict warning. During that 5-minute break, do not, under any circumstance, pick up your phone. If you do, you won't even notice when 5 minutes turns into an hour. Break means drink water, stretch, or stand on the balcony. No screens." These 2 tricks turned her study sessions from a burden into a game. She'd complete 4 cycles and feel like a winner. Step 7, smart learning, not rote memorization. Everything was set, but as exams got closer, Emily's old fear came back. She said, "I study everything, but the moment I close the book, my mind goes blank. I feel like I'll forget it all in the exam hall." Solution 1, active recall. Test yourself, stop passive reading. Emily would read a topic, close the book, and write down on a blank sheet everything she remembered. Remember, memory improves when you test yourself. She solved past year questions and practice papers. When the brain knows a test is coming, it pays special attention to that information. Solution 2, Feynman technique. If a concept wasn't clear, Emily would explain it to me, or stand in front of the mirror and explain it as if I were a 5-year-old. When you can explain something in simple terms, that concept locks into your brain. Solution 3, spaced repetition. Revise at the right time. Forgetting is normal. So we made a rule to revise before forgetting. Study something today. Maybe only 70% sticks, that's fine. Revise it the next day, then a week later, then a month later. That moves the information from short-term memory to long-term memory. Solution 4, visual study. Read only, and you'll forget. See it, and you'll remember. Instead of rote learning theory, Emily started making mind maps and flowcharts. Our brain remembers images better than text. Solution 5, the mistake book. This was Emily's secret weapon. Every question she got wrong in practice tests, she wrote in a separate mistake notebook. The day before the exam, she didn't study anything new, she just revised her mistakes. This habit boosted her marks by 5 to 10% for free. Now Emily wasn't cramming, she was mastering the material. Step 8, the percentage boosters. Every student has a subject they run from, like a language or a humanities subject. Most students ignore these, but they're actually high-scoring subjects that don't take much effort. Emily was making that same mistake. She said, "Languages are easy, I'll study them 2 days before the exam." I stopped her right there. "Emily, that overconfidence will ruin your score." We made a simple strategy. You don't need to spend hours on these subjects. Just 40 to 50 minutes daily. Whether it's reading one chapter or practicing grammar. Emily started treating these subjects not as a burden, but as a refresher. When she got tired of heavy subjects, she'd read stories from her literature book. Less effort, more marks. These subjects became her percentage boosters. Step 9, smart way to memorize long answers. Emily had another big problem. 2-line answers are fine, but seeing 1 to 2 page long answers makes my head spin. I memorize half and forget half. I gave her a simple formula for long answers. Deep reading. Emily stopped trying to memorize. Instead, she read the answer 2 or 3 times with full concentration to understand the flow of the answer. The rough draft. She closed the book and wrote the answer on a scrap page, however it came to her, with broken keywords and rough sentences. Error scan. She matched her rough draft with her notebook. Lines or keywords she missed or got wrong were marked with a red highlighter. Targeted focus. Now she didn't read the whole answer, just the highlighted parts she had forgotten. Final learning. She wrote the answer fresh on a clean page, this time with no mistakes. After doing this 2 or 3 times, the answer was printed in her mind. Step 10. 7 to 8 hours of sleep. As exams got closer, Emily started making a new mistake, staying up all night and skipping meals. The result? She was exhausted all day, and nothing she studied would go into her brain. The 3 golden rules. 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Don't compromise on sleep. When you sleep, your brain saves the day's learning into memory, food, and sunlight. During exam time, cut out junk food completely. We focused on healthy home-cooked meals and water. I also sent her for a 15-minute walk in the evening sunlight to get fresh oxygen and reduce stress. Stay away from toxic friends. This was most important. I said stay away from friends who call and say, "I haven't studied anything," when they've actually finished everything. Those comments will only increase your panic. Emily cut out the negativity and took care of her health. When her mind was calm and her body fit, her focus automatically doubled. Remember, you'll perform your best only when you're happy. Exam day came. Emily sat in the exam hall, but this time there was no panic on her face, just a winner's smile. When the results came out, Emily didn't just pass, she scored 92%. That day, she understood. Everyone works hard, but the one who wins is the one who moves in the right direction. Bonus tip. Even after studying everything, feeling scared the day before the exam is normal. But remember, those last 24 hours shouldn't outweigh years of hard work. One day before the exam, don't touch anything new. Just revise your short notes. Do not compromise on sleep. On the morning of the exam, stand in front of the mirror, look into your own eyes and say, "I've given my 100% and today I will perform my best." This self-trust will boost your confidence. Always reach the exam center at least 1 hour early. And one final thing, give your best. But remember, a sheet of paper doesn't decide your future. Exams are important, but they are not bigger than your life and your capability. Stay calm. You've put in the work, and you'll make it happen. Quick recap. If you're feeling like Emily from last year, scared and confused, remember, you're not alone, and you're not weak. Like Emily, you can change your story too. The 10 steps shared here aren't just tips, they're a weapon. If you've read this far, it means you're serious about your dreams. So right now, comment, "I will do it," and go sit down to study. All the best for your exams.